Get Everton FC updates directly to your inbox plus subscribe. Thank you for subscribing. Could not subscribe? Try again later. Invalid email. There is an element of the surprise with Mason Holgate. Despite turning 21 today, there is no hint of timidity to his demeanor, though that is not compensated with arrogance or misplaced self-belief. He is a confident thinker, a clear speaker, a defender who knows what is required of him and his senior teammates as Everton battle hard to clamber out of their current malaise. That he presents this image just days after his mistake against Lyon, his must-time challenge, allowing Nabil Fekir to open the scoring for the League One side from the penalty spot, is part of the surprise. So, too, the fact he still arrives to discuss that game and what it means for the Blues in such candid terms, when other youngsters might have shied from it, or not faced it at all. It's football, isn't it? Things like that happen. It was just a mistake. I timed it a fraction late and caught him, he says. There's no disputing it was a penalty. It was just a mistake and I just tried to get on with the game because it was very early. You have to forget about it, especially when you're 5 minutes in. If I kept thinking about it all game, it would have been a long night. You know it's happened, but things like that you just have to put it to the back of your mind. It wasn't something I wanted to dwell on during the game. Dwell on it he didn't. Holgate recovered from that mistake and, though his side would eventually lose 2-1 to further dent their Europa League hopes, the fullback produced a mature showing from the 6th minute onwards. Still, you would think a player of so few years would need a comforting arm around the shoulder, or a word of advice in his ear. Think again. No, he responds, when asked if anything was said at halftime. I think everybody knows I'm quite strong mentally. It wouldn't have really affected me, so everyone just seemed to get on with it. Image. Jason Roberts. I wasn't dreading going back. It's a mistake. Everybody always makes them. None of the lads would have blamed me. Obviously it was my mistake, but I don't think I would have got the blame and gone into the changing room and roasted me for it. Obviously I've not gone out and meant to do it. Everyone was quite alright about it. It helps me a lot because I can get it out my mind. I don't like when people keep reminding me. So nobody did. Holgate's insight ruins the scenario of cups being thrown, voices being raised and fingers being pointed in the Everton dressing room, at a time when it could be. The 21-year-old has made 8 appearances this season in a campaign which has seen them win 2 games in their last 12, including just twice in the Premier League so far. Defeat to Lyon left their European hopes in tatters, while a draw at Brighton raised titters. If Wayne Rooney had not dispatched his last minute penalty, Everton would be one place outside the relegation zone, rather than the 16th spot which they currently occupy. Video loading. Video unavailable. Click to play. Tap to play. The video will start in 8. Cancel play now. And yet, Holgate is part of a cluster of young talent with whom hopes are being attached to in order to save the season. It is the likes of him, Tom Davies, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Ademola Lookman and John Joe Kenny who are tipped to pick this side off the canvas, rather than those who arrived as part of the near $150 million summer outlay. Often it is experience that is coveted in crisis, but not at Goodison. The youngsters play with a freedom some of their more senior colleagues do not. They inject pace, invention and fearlessness into the lineup. Though undoubtedly considered part of that batch of the next generation at Everton, Holgate is insistent on one thing, that their selection is not because of ability rather than age. For me personally, and I think the other lads believe this as well, we don't want to be judged as young so we don't have to do it, he adds. We know that if we're in the team then we have to show why. It's nothing to do with age. It doesn't matter to us how old we are. We're in there because we believe we can do the job. Age doesn't matter. We don't want to be seen as young. We want to be seen as good players. No matter what age we are. We don't want to be seen as being carried. We want to be at the front with the rest of the lads. A lot of managers would drop young players and go for experience. But Ronald Koeman has stuck with us, and we want to show him that age doesn't affect our minds or the way we play. If we're in the team, we think that we're good enough to play and confident enough that we're just like any player, no matter our age. After finishing 7th last season, Holgate's debut top-flight campaign, making 18 league appearances, the expectation was that he would be in a side challenging for the top 6, if not higher, after an unprecedented summer splurge. Instead, the toughest moment of his career in the top flight. It is such moments that build character. However, myself and the rest of the young lads know football isn't easy. He admits, there are going to be a lot of ups and a lot of downs. It's about trying to stay the same through all of them. Last year, for people like me and Tom Davies, there were a lot of highs. We were doing well as a team. This year it's a bit lower. It tests us as characters, and we've got to show that we will stand up and be counted when things aren't going well. As a squad, we've not done what was expected of us. But as individuals, it's not through a lack of effort. Things just aren't going for us at the moment. Image. Dan Istite. Getty Images. Though only 21, Holgate made senior appearance No. 51 against Lyon. In fact, such has been his involvement under Ronald Koeman. It is surprising to remember his debut in blue came at the same time as the Dutchman in the 1-1 draw with Tottenham 15 months ago. Even more startling is how quickly he has shaken off the inevitable next John Stones tag, which reflects on how he is grafting a reputation for himself, rather than the similarities between the two. Both born in Yorkshire, both snapped up from Barnsley, both with reputations as classy, versatile ball-playing defenders. It's hard for a defender to play at a young age, he says. So it is a good number to have at 21, and hopefully there will be more. I'm the oldest one of the young players, but we're just a group who all chip in together. It's not like old lads and young lads. Everyone is in together. There is not really a group of young lads. It's a good squad to be in. I think we're different players. Holgate and Stones. Obviously comparisons are going to be made because he's from the same background as me. But I think we're different players, and I am just trying to focus on what I can do and see where that takes me. No matter what position that ends up being. Video loading. Video unavailable. Click to play. Tap to play. The video will start in 8. Cancel play now. And so, to the main event on Sunday. His 21st birthday. And Arsenal, now legally allowed to become an airline pilot. His party will be spent trying to clip the wings of Alexis Sanchez, Mesut Ozil and others in the Arsenal ranks. But does he see this milestone as a coming of age for himself? Not really, he says. I don't think it changes much. It's just another number. As games go, I've played quite a lot of games now. I've just heard last Sunday against Brighton was my 50th in club football. So in terms of games, I'm getting them in. I just think that's going to come with more and more experience. And what of coming face to face with Sanchez? I'll tell you after the game. I played against Arsenal last year and he's a good player. But they have a lot of good players attacking wise. Him, Ozil. So we'll just have to all be switched on and be ready for it. Celebrating it depends on how the game goes. Hopefully it'll be a good birthday. Getting 3 points and then go out for a meal with my mum and dad. If we lose, I'll stay in. No surprises there, then.